It's coming in April. How to Read Comics the Marvel Way, number one. This is a comic, 4-issue limited series, from what we're hearing, that will tell you how to read comics. Okay, then. Hey there, this is Perch. We got the news that there's a brand new comic coming in April, How to Read Comics the Marvel Way, written by Christopher Hastings, art by Scott Koblish, covers by David Nakayama. What is this comic? Well, as it's billed, have you ever tried to give a friend a comic book, but they just weren't able to understand what was going on with all these pictures and words and things? Well, it's easy to get lost and confused. Comics can be like a foreign language. Well, they are. I mean, if you're reading manga, if you're reading Shonen Jump and it's not translated, then it's definitely in a foreign language. But otherwise, basically, it's Marvel's definitive guide for sharing their theories and grammar of comics. And I can't help but think this is a little bit of a shot at understanding comics. It really feels like Marvel's trying to get in on some of that action. You get a 4-issue series, and then you get a nice little trade that they get to send out to libraries and the bookstores. This clearly seems aimed at libraries and bookstores to kind of take on that Scott McCloud understanding comics market, that lucrative understanding comics market. Anyway, the comic's going to be Mysterio is going to trap Spider-Man in a comic book, and he's going to help navigate them through the gutters, balloons, pencils, panels, and more, so you can follow along and figure out how to read comics. Okay, well, that's nice. So we got a little preview of this, and I thought, hey, I'll save you some time and some money by giving you the 6 valuable lessons of how to read Marvel Comics. Okay, lesson 1, save your money. That's right. If you're going to read Marvel Comics, from Marvel are generally $3.99, mini $4.99. If you're going to be buying a comic, you're going to be paying at least $60 a year before taxes, probably a little bit higher than that. Could be as much as $100 if you've got anniversary issues, annuals, that special, all-important issue that suddenly went, it's issue 250 for no apparent reason, and it now costs $10. Definitely save your money. If you want to keep reading, you're going to have to put out some cash. Lesson number 2, get ready to learn to love events. Marvel loves their events, and there's just so many of them. Last 2 years, we're getting at least 6 quote-unquote events. Events here being, more than 6 issues of a comic that spirals into other comics. We're getting at least 6 of them, many occurring simultaneously. We've got the things coming out of incoming from Marvel. We've got Iron Man 2020, and we've got Outlawed, and we've got Secret Empire with a Y. And it's just, the year's just getting going. So there's lots of events and lots of micro events. So these events have tie-in and crossfur issues, and you'll need to purchase them all to get the full story, or not, because these earth-changing events tend to be retconned and fixed by the time the next event rolls around. So you can just kind of hang in there if you need to. Lesson number 3, kind of tied to what I just said, forget your long-term memory. Hey, remember those classic comic stories where somebody gets amnesia? Well, that should be you, because characters you loved 10 years ago. Remember Hazmat? Remember how cool Hazmat was and people were shipping Hazmat and she was cool? Well, she's gone now, so don't worry about it. Just love whatever character is currently on display and being pumped up right now. And if you're confused as to what that character is, just look for labels on the cover saying, starring the breakout character. That's how you know this is who you're supposed to care about. Finally, well, not finally, sorry, we're just on lesson, we're 50% of the way through, true believers. Lesson 4, don't get attached to artists. I know it's really cool. You see this big launch title coming out. It's exciting. It's got a hit creative team, a star writer, star artist. Well, that artist will be gone in 3 issues. So best not to get too attached to them. Focus on those characters and those words. Those words are high quality words in those word balloons. So don't you get attached to artists, because they're just going to vanish here relatively soon. And whatever you do, don't assume that the artist on the cover is the artist on the interior. That's not going to be happening either. Lesson 5. Not just the artist. Don't get attached to the comic either. Whatever you think is going to happen with this comic, it's really a limited series at its heart. This comic will be gone within a year's time. But good news, it will be relaunched the next month. Probably with a new creative team, new status quo, and everything else. But don't get too attached. If you're looking forward to being like your great granddad and having a long, epic run of comics so you can have in a long box, well, you'll have a long box, but that epic run, you're going to have to kind of see and define it just a little bit differently. Lesson 6. Hey, continuity is super, super, super fluid. It doesn't really matter that these things couldn't possibly be happening simultaneously at the same time. Hey, the Avengers are in space fighting the Brood? No problem. They're also over here in Ghost Rider and maybe in Squirrel Girl. Who knows? They're wherever you need them to be. And if there's a character that's acting one way in one book, like a murderous, super rampaging, villainous Kraven the Hunter over in Spider-Man who's killing off clones and staging his most deadly attack yet, hey, that character's a cute little cuddly bear with a vest on in Squirrel Girl who's a buddy. So it's either a clone situation or multiverse something or other, or maybe the Molecule Man has divided people up into a million copies of themselves and just spattered them all around the multiverse and now they're here. Hey, no worries. Don't think about it. It will all be fine. Anyway, I'm sure there's going to be a lot more very important lessons, true believers. You can see it all in the brand new comic book, How to Read Comics the Marvel Way, which is coming in April. I know you're all excited about it. It's going to be great. Absolutely. Hey, are you looking forward to this book? Have you always wanted to know how you're supposed to read comics the Marvel Way? Let me know in the comments below. Take your bets as to how much this comic will be, and we are just going to blaze on through it together. Go ahead and, by the way, if you don't mind, like, subscribe if you got any value out of this video. I don't know how you could have, but hey, you never know. Go ahead and let me know in the comment below. Follow me on Twitter at Comic Perch. And yes, certainly some tongue-in-cheek here. Thanks for listening.